Welcome to the Paul and Matilda Wegner Grotto. Paul and Matilda Wegner emigrated from Germany in 1885 and settled in La Crosse near the Mississippi River in southwestern Wisconsin, where Paul worked for the railroad. 4 years later, the Wegners purchased a homestead near the village of Cataract, where they farmed and raised a family. That farm later became their summer home and the site of the Wegner Grotto. In 1929, a visit to the Holy Ghost Park in Dickeyville, Wisconsin, inspired the Wegners to begin building fences in their yard with concrete posts cast in shallow wooden boxes. Over the next 7 years, a growing display of glass-studded monuments drew many to the Wegners' lively corner property adjacent to Highway 71. Photographs were not permitted at what was then known as the Glass Works, but picture postcards and soda were offered for sale by the Wegner family. The embellished portal arch heralds the way into what is now known as the Wegner Grotto and is appropriately decorated with the word home spelled out in crushed black glass. Originally, it formed part of the gateway to the Wegner farmhouse, which no longer stands. Matilda and Paul Wegner's first sculpture was the 12-foot-long concrete model of the Bremen, the ocean liner that brought them to America. Made of concrete, the model of the famous steamship is inlaid with broken glass and seashells, glass insulators for portholes, and a concrete anchor on a chain. Above deck, there are air funnels and masts made from pipes and even some tiny glass passengers inside the cabins. The Wegners' great-granddaughter, who gave tours of the glassworks in the 1940s, moved a concave mirror along the far side of the Bremen. Visitors facing the mirror would see a small reflection of the steamer animated as if it were rolling over ocean swells. A giant replica of the Wegners' 50th anniversary wedding cake is the very last piece the Wegners made at this site. Topped with a crown and star, the glass frosting is decorated by rosettes that encircle each of the cake's 3 tiers. One of the photo postcards for sale at the Glassworks showed photographs of the Wegners placed within the crown of their giant, everlasting cake on the occasion of their 52nd wedding anniversary. Inside the small fenced area at the grotto, the heart shapes comprising the fence are similar to those in the central garden fence at the Dickeyville Grotto. Vintage postcards show that the Garden of Prayer was once planted entirely with flowers. Despite its arched entryway, this small garden is not meant to be seen from the inside. The open-work enclosure invites comparison to the sacred Garden of Gethsemane in Israel, meant to be contemplated from the outside. For a closer look at the handiwork of the Wegners, examine the deer and other small sculptures that surround this garden. Themes of religion and patriotism appear throughout the Wegner Grotto. The Peace Monument near Highway 71 was the original entrance to the grounds, and you may walk through it or take a rest on its bench inside. It had multiple uses, functioning as a rest stop, roadside stand, and site for religious and political discussion. Its lower section opened right off the highway before the road was raised in the 1960s. Here the Wegners sold bottles of soda pop they kept cool in the adjacent spring room. Some visitors who stopped to look at the grotto toured the grounds, while others were part of a community who found it an ideal gathering space for political discussion and preaching with a ready-made lectern facing the hillside. The 1937 funeral of Paul Wegner was held before the little church known as the Glass Chapel. Over the course of the grotto's history, over 60 wedding ceremonies have been performed at this site. Notice the sign over the doorway that reads, "One God, one brotherhood," and above this a Star of David representing the Jewish faith. A Lutheran church decorates the wall to the left of this door, and to the right you will see a Catholic church. If you walk around the chapel, you will see that the exterior walls are completely encrusted in colored glass depictions of various houses of worship, including Greek Orthodox, Baptist, and Unitarian faiths. Come back around to the chapel entrance and take a look inside. There is a decorative glass altar centered at the far end of the simple room. Colored light filters into the chapel through bottles placed horizontally to form windows and an interesting assortment of small objects that composes a display around the altar. Next to the church is the Gold Star Memorial. Made of glimmering glass shards, the 5-pointed Gold Star Memorial is dedicated to the mothers who lost sons in World War I. Matilda Wegner was herself a Gold Star mother. Just beyond this memorial, you will see the American flag. This unique rendition of the banner is composed entirely of densely packed glass pieces and positioned on a pole with a circular base designed with a mosaic of another large star. After Paul Wegner died, his wife Matilda continued to work on sculptures in the grotto and elsewhere. You will find more of her artistry on gravestones in the little cemetery where the Wegners are both buried, just a short walk up the dirt road from the grotto that they created.